You've been tricked. Not by some grand conspiracy, not by a shadowy cabal pulling strings behind the scenes, but by something far more insidious. A culture that rewards comfort, a system that profits from your distraction, and a society that teaches you to love what makes you weak. You didn't choose this. You were born into it. From the moment you could walk, you were handed screens, sugar, noise, and praise for mediocrity. You were taught that pleasure equals happiness, that ease equals success, and that struggle is something to be avoided at all costs. But here's the truth. Everything that makes you stronger lives on the other side of discomfort, and everything that makes you weaker has been dressed up to look like joy. Let's start with the obvious. You scroll endlessly through feeds designed to hijack your attention. You consume content that's been engineered to trigger dopamine spikes without delivering any substance. You laugh at memes, binge shows, and chase likes, all while your goals gather dust. You've been conditioned to believe that entertainment is harmless, that it's just a way to unwind. But what if I told you that every hour spent in passive consumption is an hour stolen from your potential? That the very platforms you trust to connect to you are the ones fragmenting your focus, eroding your discipline, and numbing your ambition? It's not just digital. Look at your diet. You've been sold the idea that food is about taste, convenience, and indulgence. Fast food, processed snacks, sugar-laden drinks. They're everywhere, cheap and addictive. You're told it's normal to eat for comfort, to treat yourself, to celebrate with junk. But what's the cost? Sluggishness, brain fog, mood swings, a body that's inflamed, tired, and dependent. You weren't born craving these things. You were trained to. And now, the very substances that weaken your mind and body are the ones you reach for when you're stressed, bored, or sad. Even your relationships aren't immune. You've been taught to seek validation instead of connection, to chase attention instead of intimacy, to perform instead of be. Social media has turned friendships into metrics, love into content, and vulnerability into spectacle. You're rewarded for being liked, not for being real. And in the process, you've lost the ability to sit with silence, to have hard conversations, to build bonds that aren't transactional. You've been tricked into believing that popularity equals worth. But deep down, you know that the most meaningful relationships are forged in truth, not in likes. Let's talk about your time. You've been told that productivity is about being busy, that success is about hustle, that rest is laziness. So you fill your calendar, chase deadlines, and wear burnout like a badge of honor. But are you actually moving forward? Or are you just spinning your wheels in a system that rewards motion over meaning? You've been tricked into measuring your life in tasks, not in impact, into believing that more is better, even when more leaves you empty. True productivity isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters, and that requires clarity, boundaries, and the courage to say no. Now, let's go deeper. You've been taught to fear discomfort, to avoid pain, to seek safety. But growth lives in the fire. Strength is forged in resistance. Resilience is born from struggle. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, you shrink. Every time you avoid the hard thing, you reinforce weakness. You've been tricked into thinking that discomfort is a sign to stop. But it's actually a signal to begin. The gym hurts. Learning is frustrating. Vulnerability is scary. But these are the arenas where transformation happens. You don't get stronger by staying safe. You get stronger by stepping into the storm. Even your thoughts have been hijacked. You've been fed narratives that keep you small, that tell you ray not enough, that success is for others, that failure defines you. These aren't truths. They're scripts. Scripts written by a culture that profits from your insecurity. Every ad, every influencer, every algorithm. They're designed to make you feel inadequate, so you'll buy, click, consume. But you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. And once you see the script, you can rewrite it. You can choose beliefs that empower, stories that uplift, narratives that serve your highest self. So what do? You take back control. You reclaim your attention. You guard your mind like a fortress. You curate your inputs with ruthless intention. You stop scrolling and start reading. You stop reacting and start reflecting. You stop consuming and start creating. You become the architect of your environment, the designer of your habits, the author of your story. You choose foods that fuel, content that inspires, people who challenge you to grow. You build a life that's aligned with your values, not with trends. You train your body, not for aesthetics, but for strength, for discipline, for mastery. You embrace the suck. You lift heavy. You run far. You stretch deep. You learn to love the burn, the sweat, the grind, because every rep is a vote for your future self. Every workout is a declaration that you refuse to be weak. You don't need motivation. You need momentum. And that starts with showing up, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. You train your mind. You meditate. You journal. You read. You study. You challenge your assumptions. You seek truth, not comfort. You ask better questions. You sit with discomfort. You learn to observe your thoughts without judgment, to respond instead of react, to choose your focus. Because a trained mind is a powerful weapon, and in a world that profits from your distraction, focus is rebellion. You train your spirit. You reconnect with purpose, with values, with meaning. You serve others. You build community. You speak truth. You live with integrity. You stop chasing status and start cultivating character. You stop performing and start being. You stop hiding and start healing. Because strength isn't just physical. It's emotional. It's spiritual. It's the ability to stand tall in the face of chaos and say, I will not be moved. This isn't about perfection. It's about direction. You will stumble, you will fall. You will relapse into old patterns. That's part of the process. But every time you choose strength over weakness, you build momentum. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you reclaim a piece of yourself. Every time you choose truth over comfort, you become more you. And that's the goal. Not to become someone else, but to become who you were always meant to be. You've been tricked into liking things that make you weak. But now you see the game. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. You can't go back to sleep. You can't pretend it's harmless. You can't pretend it doesn't matter. Because it does. Your life matters. Your potential matters. Your impact matters. And the world needs you strong. Not just for you, but for your family, your community, your mission. Weakness is contagious, but so is strength. When you rise, others rise with you. So take back control. Not tomorrow. Not next week, now. Turn off the noise. Clean up your inputs. Move your body. Feed your mind. Speak your truth. Build your tribe. Live with intention. You don't need permission. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to begin. One step. One choice. One moment of clarity, and then another. And another. Until the momentum is unstoppable. You were born powerful. You were born capable. You were born to lead, to serve, to create. Don't let the world convince you otherwise. Don't let comfort steal your fire. Don't let distraction dilute your purpose. You are not here to be entertained. You are here to evolve, to expand, to elevate. And that requires strength, real strength. The kind that is built in silence, in struggle, in sweat. So rise, not with anger, but with clarity. Not with fear, but with conviction. Not with noise, but with purpose. Rise and reclaim what's yours. Your time, your energy, your mind, your body, your soul. You've been tricked into liking things that make you weak. But now you know. And knowing is power. Use Italiano.